Dude, this is what an F80 should be. This is great. Ladies and gentlemen, 2016 BMW M3. That's the F80 generation with the DCT. And yes, it is a proper DCT, not a torque converter ZF8 speed, but this is no stock F80. This one is pushing out 562 horsepower. That's 495 wheel horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque, which is a big bump above the stock 429 horsepower. That's 382 wheel horsepower and 400 pound-feet on the same dyno. The F80 M3 is powered by the 3-liter twin-turbocharged inline-six. That's the S55 engine that is rated at 425 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque in this non-competition spec. However, the owner has done a ton of mods, full mod list as always down in the description, and that includes some suspension changes that bring it closer to the competition. So he has the same base M3 front sway bar, but he's done a few mods to bring it closer to the CS, namely the same rear sway bar as well as the EDC module. Now the owner has added Extreme Contact Sport 02 tires, that's 275 in the front, 295 in the rear, to deal with that additional power and torque going through the rear tires. We have an Alpine MSS Stage 2+ tune with no burbles because Philip is more of a sophisticated gentleman than many of us degenerates. He has the crank hub upgrade, which is important for this generation of M3. The Euro MDM Flash, which gives you a bit more slip angle because the MDM in the US is a bit more conservative. Evolve Automotive Bilstein B6 EDC dampers with the OEM CS Suspension Flash. Turner Motorsports front monoball thrust arm bushings, which should really help with the steering and front end response. Gotta like the tasteful carbon lip spoiler, as well as carbon fiber rear diffuser. These weigh in right around 3,600 pounds. We have McPherson strut front suspension, multi-link in the rear. And the 2016 model year actually received a facelift. This is the first model year with the facelift, and market value for these goes for around 35 to 50K. Owner has, of course, put a lot of time, effort, and money into this example. And we have driven one F80 on the channel before. That was a stock example that had this unsettled, kind of nervous behavior. But I'm curious to see how this compares with these mods, especially with the suspension and the front end. These also have a solid rear subframe, which should help with that direct connection. Tons of drive modes on the interior. So you have this for MDM, that's traction, but then we have engine, which you can go efficient, sport, sport plus, that's just your throttle response. You have the adaptive dampers, we have steering, and then we even have the shift logic. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, slower to quicker shifts. So we'll start in 2 there. Wow. And we're gonna put this into manual. This is definitely no stock F80. The first thing is this power and torque is monstrous. Plenty of grunt for a 3,600 pound vehicle. Steering and comfort is a little bit lighter, and I gotta say I'm impressed because we have electric power steering, but oftentimes with modern M3s we get no feedback, no connection. But here you can feel a bit from the front end. Is it tremendously feelsome? Is it a Lotus Elise? Obviously not. But a step up over stock for sure. Super quick shifts, even in this 2 out of 3 shift mode setting. Let's go all the way to 3 now. Also want a bit more body control. We're getting a good amount of lean in the corner, so let's change these adaptive dampers to sport. Steering into sport. Throttle response into sport. Immediately feel the suspension stiffen up. Dude, this is what an F80 should be. This is great. Wow. Wow. this car gives you this level of connectedness already. The front end being so immediately noticeable, but the whole car itself feels far more planted with the suspension mods here. And we're gonna roll into the power here. I actually like the steering more at this setting with a little bit more weight. Feels more congruent with the rest of the vehicle and the size and weight of the vehicle. Let's go all the way up to Sport Plus and change the dampers as well to Sport Plus. Getting that torque kick between shifts. Dude, I am so impressed. This is giving you that modern flavor of BMW where you have tremendous performance from recent M3s, but you're getting a level of connectedness and feel and communication that you simply don't have from things like the G80, and even the F80 in stock form feels more numb. Beautiful, precise shifts, smooth as well. On the upshifts, you get that nice theatrical jolt. Felt the rear end coming out a little bit there. Tons of power, tons and tons of power to have fun on the canyons. This would be a joy on track too, I'm sure. Although Sport Plus suspension might be a bit firm, I think Sport is probably the sweet spot for these adaptive dampers. And the steering, when you get to Sport Plus, you add additional weight and you start losing out on a little bit of that communication on the front end. The weighting as you go from straight to slightly turned to more turned is not consistent and clean. I feel like in comfort or sport, I should prefer sport more. Better weighting, I think, while still maintaining that natural communication and front end feel. For an M3, an F80, this size and this weight, the front end also feels quite sharp and quite immediate. Ooh, a bit of a slow downshift there. I love what Philip has done here. He's reintroducing the emotion to modern BMW M3s, because M3s, at least in the recent generations, F80, G80, they are digital and incredible with their modern performance. But he's giving you a little bit more of that analog feel while actually elevating the performance even further. Oh, what a treat. Brakes have this nice solidity to them. As soon as you get on the pedal, and then very easy to modulate as well. Wow, I'm impressed. This is what an M3 should be. And you still have the practicality, you can still take your friends or family around. But tons of performance. Big changes between these different modes too, which is part of the fun. Brake and traction even in second gear there. I like the larger magnitude shifts with the different modes because you feel like you can customize the car to the road and to the driving experience that you want. You're getting a wider breadth of driving experiences from a single vehicle, and the way he set this up, even the throttle response is very linear, and that came with the tune. Like, he wanted the most linear throttle response. In a stock F80, it's only fully open exhaust valves in Sport Plus, but here, you want to get rid of the burbles, have that linear throttle response in Sport. It's just such... I love driving examples like this where the owner is clearly a driving enthusiast more than anything else, and they choose the mods and they tune it and they set up the vehicle in just the right way to bring out the best from the vehicle. Here, you're getting the best of both worlds, what BMW has to offer in modern day with that flavor and feedback and emotionality that you crave from earlier years. And this engine, man, the S55 is one of these great BMW M3 engines. Is it the 65, the naturally aspirated V8? No, but the trade-off is that you get this higher performance ceiling. And with the inline-six, you still have that smoothness with the twin turbos, the way it's set up and tuned. You really reduce and minimize that turbo lag. You have quite good throttle response, and then the engine builds and delivers that power in a linear way all the way to redline. A very fun engine to rev out. You still have that chunky M steering wheel. The seats, of course, in an M3, you're gonna be a little bit more upright than in a dedicated Porsche sports car, for example. And the seats, they're relatively comfortable and medium level of support as well. I'm 6'1", 175 pounds. I think that if you were a little bit larger, they would fit you even more snugly and tightly. And while it is very impressive what BMW has done with the ZF 8-speed automatic torque converter, with the DCT, you get a certain level of drama and sharpness to the shifts that's hard to replicate with a torque converter. Although, again, they've done a great job with the ZF 8-speed, but this has a little bit more character to it. For 35 to 50K, you're getting a vehicle with the F80 M3 that has such great foundational elements, but I do think, after driving both a stock and modified example here, that you need to put in some time and work to bring out the best. So if you're willing to invest that extra money in getting the car set up right, like Philip has done here, you're truly in for a treat. Big shout out to the owner Philip for letting me review his F80 M3. Shout out to Fenton from the Zygreen channel for making this review possible. My friends, if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com. Fill out that form on the homepage, and I'll see you all in that next one.